Welcome. I'm Danielle Sally.
And I'm Eva Fusa.
And you're listening to Ghost Boss, stories about the freelance afterlife. Hey, ghosties.
Well, hello, hi.
That was a different intro. You went hello and hi.
Well, hello, hi. First off, that's how I answer the phone most of the time.
Is it?
I know you don't answer
I would
the
have
phone.
to call you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but that's how I answer. I know you probably don't get on the phone a lot. I probably
Or answer calls, yeah.
Right. I talk to 3 or 4 people probably every single day.
Yeah.
And so that is how I answer the phone when people call me. Hello, hi. I also start a lot of text messages that way. So yeah, it's just, maybe instead of my weird Mrs. Doubtfire country bumpkin intro like I had for all of season 2, maybe I'll just do a new one every episode for season 3.
Which is
my goal.
I like this. I like this.
We'll
All right,
see. We'll see. I'm not doing accents because it's gonna get real
That'll
bad.
get
I'm not
weird,
good at them.
right?
It's gonna get real weird. I'm gonna run out of okay ones and be like, "Ooh, girl, like you're getting into some odd territory here."
Like
so
all your accents might still end in a southern twang.
yeah. So I was talking to somebody else about my accent the other day, and they're like, "It's not so much like the words you say; it's you end everything like drawn out."
Yeah, which
so
is part of the southern twang. It's just
it is.
drawn out.
But I know how to say oil, so I got that
great.
going for me.
There you go. The one I
surprised.
give my husband the hardest time. He doesn't hear it. He says pen and pin the same way, and even when I say pen and pin, he doesn't hear the difference, and I'm like, those are different words. I don't
like a writing pen versus a push pen?
Yes.
I barely say a difference. I don't.
No, most
writing pen,
Southerners
push pen.
I learned do not say it differently. And
Okay.
I've confused my husband. Apparently we have conversations a lot where he doesn't know if I need a pen or a pin. But this is a discussion in my household a lot.
Do you have a lot of need for push pens? Like I could understand
guess
asking for a writing pen. Yeah. We should do a whole episode on like a bonus episode, a little short 10-minute one on like words and how we say them differently.
Yeah. I think that's good.
I say picture, which is correct, but a lot of people around here say pitcher. They drop the C. Pitcher.
Actually, no, I have a question because I was in a client meeting. And these clients were, I think, mostly Virginia. And
that's the South. We could talk about that in the episode too. That's the South.
And I grew up in West Virginia, so not far away. I have always said template, and I'm realizing
Did they say template?
They all say template. And I remember listening to a podcast a couple years ago, and the host was from Canada, and he also said template. And now and I was like, these individuals are Virginia. So I'm like, am I just saying the word wrong, or is it both? Or I have no idea. What do you say?
I say template, but I'm not a good barometer for this because I was raised in South Carolina, but my dad is from California, which is its own thing.
Right.
And then my mother is from Arkansas, which is also the South, but it is has like a Midwest vibe feel to it because it's not the South the way like
it's the most southern
South
Midwest
Carolina
state.
and Georgia. Yeah, like it really is. It really is. Like my mother is from the South. I had somebody try to argue with me once who has never I don't know that she'd ever even been to Arkansas, and she was like, Arkansas is not the South. I was like, I beg to differ because half of my family is from there. I guarantee you, Arkansas is the South. It's just like there's deep South and then like the edge South, and then like we just don't count Florida or Texas. Like they are their own thing.
That's their own thing. Look,
right.
I get it.
It's fine. So,
as someone who grew up in West Virginia, again, no one will claim us.
We'll do a whole maps, a little bonus episode on maps too.
We'll give our map.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But I'm not always a good barometer as far as like, how do you say this word? But I say templates, not template. I also say pecan, even though like I grew up in South Carolina. I don't say pecan. I say pecan.
Yeah. The other one that I actually changed how I would say it
Mhm.
is I used to always say gala, and
I was gonna ask you about
everyone
this. Gala,
down here
gala.
said gala.
I say
And
gala.
since when I first joined the AAF board in Midlands, I was the gala chair. And I would always say gala chair, but they all said gala. So I changed
Gala.
to the point now I have a hard time remembering I used to say gala. And that's another one. I'm like, do I just give this up or do I
Yeah.
do I
Yeah.
stick to my guns here?
It's gala. If somebody says gala,
They're
I don't know that
fancy.
that's gonna stand out to me. Yeah, but it's gala. It's gala. Yeah. I don't
We'll
know.
find
We can do
out.
a whole episode on words. I also can't really say the word rural, and I don't think that's just because 'cause I'm from the South. I think that's
No,
it's a lot of
it's a tough
R's in a
word.
row. Rural. Rural.
Rural. Rural. It's like me trying to say y'all. It for some
Whoa!
reason, I
Y'all?
said it kind of
Y'all?
I struggle to say it. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I just do. I think I almost said it naturally the other day.
Mhm.
I've only
Ooh,
lived down here since 2003. Well,
you're fine. You're doing great.
surely
You're
I'll
doing great.
eventually say it. But it flows odd out of my mouth, kind of like how you just said rural.
Rural. It's funny, I fought saying y'all the entire time I was growing up
Really? And you're
because
from down here.
well, but, like, we moved here from California and, like,
Yeah, that's a
honestly and
good
I was
point.
born in California, and there was some talk for a little bit when I was in high school about going back. So, like, I really
You didn't want to commit.
didn't yeah, I mean, like, I really didn't feel like the South was my home until
Sure.
I was a little bit older, and so I it's funny you say 2003, I think that's about when I gave up and just started saying y'all. Like, I just
We're
I was,
done.
like,
We're
I was, like,
here.
halfway through college, I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna let it go."
Yeah.
And at that point, like, I feel now I hear people say y'all who aren't necessarily from the South, so it's not as bad, but, like, I remember the first time I went to New York City, I was, like, 22 years old, and I do oftentimes end up sounding a little bit like the people that I'm around, so, like, my Southern
Sure.
accent really
Yes.
softens when I go somewhere else or if I'm around a lot of people who don't have a Southern accent. And on the flip side of that, when I'm around my mother, I can sometimes sound like a banjo if I'm upset
Oh,
because I just yeah, it's a whole vibe. Anyways, I was talking to somebody in New York City and, after, like, 20 minutes, they're like, "Are you from the South?" I was like, "Oh, yeah," and they're like, "Oh, I had no idea until you said y'all." I was like, "Oh, whoopsies.
sorry about that.
Whoopsies." Yeah. So, I'm not always a good barometer for that, but
That's
anyways,
fair.
hello, hi,
Hello,
welcome.
hi. So today's episode,
Mm,
I was listening back to our AI episode, and you had made a comment on there that about how AI is not taking our jobs until the client knows
mm,
what they want.
mhm,
And that I think hits home to most creatives. And it got me
mhm,
thinking a lot too about how we have to navigate those conversations with clients in order to help them figure out what they want. Right.
mhm,
And so,
mhm,
wanted to talk a lot today about how to handle critiques, how to
mhm,
kind of navigate the client's feedback
mhm,
and getting them to that end place for finally
mhm.
getting to point A to point Z of them realizing this is what they wanted all along.
We're going all the way to point Z. I mean, usually we're like point A to point B. We got 26 steps in here?
We
That's a
might get
lot of
to it, like,
steps.
at least
Ugh,
D,
I'm
perhaps.
tired. It's 9:53 AM. Calm down. Calm down.
So, I think I don't know about you, you're probably gonna agree because you do the same thing as me. I always feel like the toughest projects to
Mhm,
collect feedback are
mhm,
always the branding projects. I feel that sometimes they have an idea of what they want and they might give you inspiration. Like, I like
mhm,
these type of logos. I like these colors. I like these fonts, blah, blah, blah. And you get to this point, you deliver kind of what they asked for. I
mhm,
usually do a variety. Here's what you asked for. Here's more the direction that I think you should do. Uh, and let's say ask for something, you're like, "Yep, that's exactly you've nailed it. This is what we should do." And then they see it,
mhm.
and then suddenly they're unsure. They're second guessing everything. They don't know what to do. How do you kinda navigate those conversations during a client meeting? If
Well,
they see exactly what you told them to do, and suddenly they're completely unsure if this is the direction we wanna go.
well, I actually don't get that mostly with my branding projects.
Yeah?
I get it a lot with my website projects, and I think it's
Interesting.
yeah, I think it's because I do, like, much smaller scale web stuff than you do.
Fair.
So people are doing, like, just much smaller 5-page little, smaller sites. And so the exploration process is a lot simpler. And I mean, certainly I'll come back to the question because certainly I get some of it in brand development. And honestly, I get it sometimes in collateral too. People get real fussy with me about a flyer.
Yeah.
Um, which is fine. But
Well, those have
with
to get
web,
printed, so it's tough.
right. But with web, I think I get it more than branding because sometimes with branding, like people acknowledge like this isn't their arena. And so they don't have as strong of opinions, or they really are like, well, you're the expert. I don't really interact with this stuff very much. I don't like have a lot of opinions about logos, so I'm not really sure. Whereas everybody's on a website,
Yeah.
everybody's on a website. And so therefore they all have very specific ideas of what they want and what they don't want. And then, but then they don't always have the language to tell me what they want. And then I make it
Yes.
and they're like, but not this. And I was like, okay. And then we end
Uh,
up walking through some of their ideas, which may or may not make sense from a UX perspective. And then I'm having to like talk them through stuff about like, this is, I want to know if you get this too. A lot of people, when I'm doing web stuff, or really just anything digital, I run into it too with like newsletter design and stuff like that. Everybody's like real obsessed with above the fold, which I
oh my
get, but
goodness. Yes.
I like, that is such honestly, in the way, like, UX works now, it is an archaic thing to be obsessed with above the fold, and I have to constantly explain to everybody, social media and our phones in general have trained us to scroll, so
Yes.
you do not have to get worried about they're not gonna see it because it's not up top. They will see it because everybody's accustomed now to getting there and scrolling, and so that ends up tough too. I have no idea if I've not answered the question, but I think this is important
Well, it is
because
important. Like, I
yeah,
was gonna say on that above the fold thing, I usually mention the scrolling too. The other thing I mention, if everything is important and everything's above the fold, nothing's
nothing's
important.
important.
And
Correct.
now you've completely lost your user that's coming to the site because now they have too much
Yes.
to figure out what they
Yes.
need to do. And they haven't even
Yes.
scrolled yet.
Right. I end up explaining a lot decision fatigue and this idea. There was a study that once you get past 6 options, the what is it, like, the quality of your decision making skills, like, rapidly decreases because you have too many things to think about now, and so you really do need to pare it down, and that's important when you're talking about UX and navigation. It's also important, like, anytime you're asking the user to do anything, right? Like, call to actions, like, on even, like, static collateral pieces, but I also, like, think about that too when I talk to particularly younger designers who are like just like getting out in the world. I'm like, do not give people like 8 logo options. Do
Yeah.
not, because they are going to get too like you've given them too many decisions. You really got to pare it down and give them like, I usually do 3,
Yeah.
4 for really exploring some stuff.
Right.
Um but yeah, I'm sorry, what was the question? I've gotten way off topic. I'm on topic, just not with your question.
Uh,
This is relevant. I'm not even rambling.
No, it's
This is
still
relevant.
relevant.
This
You're
is
just
relevant.
because I was talking about branding, but for you, it's UX
Yes,
design,
it's
and
just
that's
different.
still
Yeah.
it's still relevant because the question was, what do you do in those situations where you've presented them with what they
Mhm.
say they want, and
Oh, yeah.
suddenly they're like, "Oh, this is not it," but they still don't know what they want.
Um, that's actually sounds great because sometimes I present them with what they asked for, and I know it's not gonna work. And
Yep.
they are like, "Oh, no, that's perfect. That's great. I wanna do that." And I'm like, "You're not supposed to wanna do that. It's not
Yeah.
the good one." Not that I tried to make it bad, but what they requested sometimes isn't the best practice, but they really wanna see it, and then they pick
They
that because
need to
that's what they
see
asked
it,
for.
I feel
Yeah,
like,
but then
yes.
sometimes they pick it, and I'm like,
You
"Okay,
do take a
alright."
risk. It's a risky
You do,
thing,
you
but
do. Um, but yeah, I just if I show them what they asked for and they don't like it, then I use that as an opportunity to kind of first I ask them, "Okay, well, what don't you like about it?" And
Mhm,
I encourage them to just start talking to me because sometimes I find clients get hung up in the language because they don't know how to talk about this stuff the way we do, which is fine. I also don't know how to talk about lots of other things in lots of other industries because it's not what I do. You should have heard me talking to the HVAC repair people over the summer. Although they said I knew more than most people, and I did feel good about that.
yeah,
But, like, I tell them, I was like, "Just start talking to me or just write your thoughts out if it's via email." Because they get a little hung up on, like, "I don't really know," and I'm like, "That's okay. Just throw it all out there because I can probably discern what you're trying to say."
right,
Um, and then from there, I walk them through like, I take that stuff out and then walk them through, like, what's probably not working for them.
yeah. Well, and I do that I mean, to go back to UX, a lot of when I start with a UX problem or a UX project, it is to identify all of their pain points. I wanna
Mhm.
know what on your current website causes you the most pain, the most issues. Is
Mhm.
it Is it on your end? Is it updating the site? Is it on the user's end? They can't find any of the content that they need. Where are your biggest pain points? And so I think hearing where their pain points are actually does help you get to figure out what they want, even though they don't know what they want yet, because obviously they want something that doesn't cause them the issues that they're having on the current state of their website or their logo or whatever it is. They want to
Right.
make sure there it's a significant improvement to eliminate those pain points.
Yeah, and I that reminds me of something that I find I do at the beginning a lot of times with clients. So they clients come in all shapes and forms and sizes and thoughts and from background like there is no universal experience of what somebody's going to come to you and ask you to do. And I say that because sometimes they come to me with like they're like I need a logo or I need a brochure or I need a website or whatever and that's it. They don't really know. I got a call like that yesterday. She was like, "I don't really know. I don't really do this
Yeah.
stuff. What should I do?" I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm happy to guide you. That is a big part of what people like you and I offer is not just the technical aspect of what we do, like physically creating um the creative, but we also like offer a lot of guidance and expertise in the entire process. But then sometimes on the opposite end of that spectrum, I get somebody who comes in and is very, very prescriptive with what they want. And don't get me wrong, sometimes a client that knows what they want is a dream because I'm like, outstanding, like, great, we're all on the same page. But sometimes if they start talking to me, I realize what they've asked for is not actually what they need. And so then I have to
Right.
like stop them and back them up. And I'm very polite about it, but we'll be talking and if especially if we kind of end up in a tailspin about stuff and I feel like we're kind of running down a path, I'll stop and say, "Okay, why don't we like I have all the notes on everything you've brought me. I have what you've given me. Let's start from the beginning though. What are what problem are you trying to solve?"
Right.
And I get them talking like that, right? And it's similar to your pain point question. Um, what problems are you trying to solve? And let's explore that
Yes.
because maybe printed collateral isn't what you need, but maybe it is. Like print is not dead, and I will die on this hill. Like I tell people all the time, you get a lot of ROI out of like direct mail now instead of emails because people get less mail than
Yeah.
they do emails, right? But it depends on like what your budget is and what your goal is. Like there's a whole thing around it. But yeah, I find myself asking people a lot like what problem are you trying to solve? And getting them to
Yeah.
back up from there.
I spent a lot of gosh, it was probably 10 I don't wanna say 15 years ago, but it could have been up to, somewhere in that range, a lot of time talking people out of doing mobile apps. Everyone there was a
Mhm.
time everyone wanted an app, and part of it was because there were so many grants out there to produce apps, and they were getting these grants, and they were able, like, we got money to do an app. We got to do an app. And we spent so much time telling them, you actually just need a website, because
Mhm.
a lot of times people would make these apps and the usage was just horrible on them,
Mhm.
because why am I downloading this app for this very specific reason? It's not like
Mhm.
something that I have multiple uses for. It's not
Right.
integrating itself into my lifestyle. It's just a
Right.
very niche use for this one topic. And I'm like, I think you just need a website. And so we
Mhm.
go down that path and we talk about it. And then they usually almost always realize, oh, you know what, we did just need just a landing page, not even a full
Right.
site, just a landing
Right.
page.
Right, right, right,
But
right,
it's
right.
funny, a lot of what we do have to kind of look at them and say, is this actually what you really want? Or did
Yeah.
someone higher up come to you and say you have to have this for some reason? But
Or
what's the actual reason?
right, or you just tried to solve the problem. I had to take my car to the shop. I didn't guess what was wrong with it.
Yeah,
I mean, I Googled it because I had to wait for a tow truck for 3 hours, and I had some ideas. But
sure.
I didn't say to the man on the phone, "Travis, I think it's something," like, because I don't know, "Man, Travis,
Yeah,
my car is doing this stuttering thing, and I'm not
right?
gonna drive it," right? And so then Travis, is actually the name of the man that answers the phone when I take my car to get to the shop. Travis figures it out for me, right? Now, if
Sure.
Travis has some marketing problems that he would like solved, he should bring them to me, and then Eva will start diagnosing
Yep.
giving him some ideas. On the app note, I know I'm probably gonna ruffle some feathers of people who listen to this because I do board work with lots of people. Um, and they're probably gonna disagree with me, and that's fine, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Stop making me download an app for your event. Stop it.
Ooh.
I
Ooh.
know, but it makes me
Ooh.
mad. I don't want it. I do not want it. And I don't care if it's an app that I can use next year, because the steps to get out of last year's event into this year's event is like 8 steps, and it's so
Uh,
irritating. I don't want it.
I will say what will irritate me. I'm fine with the apps for events. Fine.
Send
I
them
just
all
have
my
no.
face right now. No.
I'll send it to you, all the issues to you. My issue is when I can only get the information on the app and I can't also
Yes.
get it from a website. That's when I'm like, why can't I just see the agenda on the
There is no
website?
agenda. They won't give
I
you the
want to
agenda.
see it on the
No,
website to
no, no,
determine if
no.
I'm going to said event.
Because they wanna hold it hostage to make you download
They're
the app, and it
gatekeeping.
makes they are, they are, and it makes me so mad. I hate downloading an app for an event. I've had it. I don't wanna do it anymore. Stop it.
Noted. Noted.
So annoying. I know I
Uh,
can do push notification. I know that. I'm aware. But as somebody who works a lot of registration desks, people just walking up to me asking for a piece of paper anyways.
yeah.
Stop making me download the app, number 1. Stop making me do it because I'm mad and I don't wanna do it. And number 2, stop making me help other people at registration do it with their phones.
I hope you know, in my head right now, I'm thinking about an upcoming conference that you and I are both attending, and I was about to scrap the paper
I
agenda, and
know.
I'm gonna print one just for you.
I'm talking about that one, and I'm talking about the big one we go to every summer. I'm mad at both of them.
Noted. Will make printed agenda. Can it be smaller? I don't want to make a booklet for a conference anymore. That
No,
needs
I
to
don't
stop.
believe in a booklet. I used to do pocket agendas that
Yes,
fit in your
that I'm
badge.
actually a fan of those.
Those are great.
I love a conference that has a schedule on the back of the badge. Oh,
Mm,
that was the
mhm.
best. I realize that gets very complicated because you have speakers dropping out last minute.
Sure,
You have
sure.
like I totally, and that's why we can't have nice things.
Well,
But
but we can if we just put it on a web page and there's a QR code on the back
yes,
of your badge, and you scan it and it goes to the web page, and then I can update the web page and people just have it in their browser and they don't have to download an app. Do not hold the Wi-Fi hostage in the app, because I can't download the app because I'm in this dungeon of a ballroom and I can't get to it, and I'm like, I need the Wi-Fi code to do anything in this place, and you're like, yeah, it's in the app. I'm like, I can't get to the app though because I don't get reception in here. And they're like, "But I don't have the Wi-Fi code. It's in the app because a sponsor sponsored it, and it's their name, like, blah, 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 likes to party, hospitality 2025." I do not care. Just give me the damn Wi-Fi and stop making me download apps.
This is the best rant you have had to date, Eva.
I'm so mad. Stop. Between events and my 8-year-old getting a hold of my phone, 2/3 of the apps on my phone are against my will. I don't want them. Stop it.
Ah, so that kind of
Anyways.
gets to the point. Knowing when to push back is key.
Yeah, I'm pushing back against your app, bro. I'm pushing back. Stop giving it to me. Stop it.
I love it. I love it.
Anyways.
I also, the other thing that tends to happen, especially when you have a client that truly, they just don't know what they want and they're really struggling with it. I think is when you have how many rounds of revisions are you going to go through to get to that end point? Do you set
Yeah.
how many at the start of a project? Do you set how many revisions they get?
Yeah, if it's flat rate, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. If it's flat rate, if it's hourly, nope. We can go as long
However
as you
many
want to
you
go.
want.
I don't care, man. Sounds great. I usually set it at 2 to 3 is
Yeah,
usually, and with a caveat about, like, if it's like fine tuning, like, like small text edits, or something like that, that's fine. But I'd have to look up the exact language I use, but it usually says 2 to 3. Um, Edits that go beyond that would just need to be, like, prior approved,
yeah,
to be covered under this, and something about, like, I reserve the right to renegotiate the fee based on that, because if let's say we've done round 3 and round 4 is just, "Oh my gosh, we misspelled this person's name," or "We got their title wrong," like,
sure.
we need to update the date. That's fine. I'm not gonna get fussy with you about that. But if round 4 is, I don't like the color blue, and this whole thing's in blue, that should have been brought to my attention
Out of scope.
yesterday. Right, right. And it's funny, well, like one of my clients, it was a flat rate project, and I put in 2 to 3 rounds, and
Yeah,
then um I'd forgotten because it was fine. Like, it was fine. Like, the rounds
sure.
of edits we'd done were really, like, were not, like, super heavy, and I liked this client, and I wanted to do more work with them, and, like, their edits made a lot of sense. I did not feel like they were just touching it to touch it, and, I sent back over, like, the file, and then she replied back, she's like, "Okay, well, we've, made it to our edit limit, so we'll take the file from here, thank you." I was like, "Oh, okay.
You're done.
I forgot to tell you, or I forgot I told you that, so yeah, okay,
It's nice
sounds
when
do you
they
like
realize
it?" And
it.
they're like, "Yeah." It's like, "Great." I was like, "Okay."
I have gotten to the point with web projects in particular. What I'll do, and you might do this too, but each phase of the project, I tell them how many revisions per phase. Because the reason I do that is because that way they know up front how many revisions they get per each one. But
Hmm,
more importantly, I make sure it's clear any additional revisions, any extended time, because I set deadlines on them too with web
mhm,
projects of you
mhm,
guys have to get a feedback to me by this date because I
mhm,
have the full timeline based on the launch date. Any delays in deadlines, any additional revisions, I make sure it's clear that could push back your launch date if
hmm,
because
mhm.
we've
Yeah,
added to the project timeline. And so I try to make sure that's clear, and
mhm,
those individuals, the clients that they have a firm launch date, maybe there's campaign launching, maybe there's a reason for that date that their website has to be finished by. They make
mhm,
sure that they are respecting that timeline, they're getting through it. It's the clients that the ones that are like, "Ah, this thing can launch whenever." It's if they're okay with that, I'm okay with that. So, but then they tend to take a little bit longer to get their revisions back to me.
mhm. I don't think I mean, there's some exceptions here and there, but for the most part, I'm not doing stuff that's in phases. My
Yeah,
web stuff is so small. Like, there's
sure.
not phases because
Yeah,
it's 4 pages, right?
yeah.
Like, it's just
Well, and
right, but yeah.
what about if you have a giant, like an annual report? Are
Mhm.
you looking at that in phases?
Mm-mm.
Okay, never mind.
I just do it and I send it
Just
to
do the
them.
thing.
Yeah. And, I we are very different people. I don't know. When do you need it? When do you need a proof? Or it's like, I'll be
Fair.
like, "When do you need the final?" And then we build a timeline. I have a timeline. There's no phases.
Yeah.
Phase 1, you give me the stuff. Phase 2, I give you something back. Phase 3, you tell me what you think. Phase 4, I fix it. Phase 5, you tell me again what you think.
And this just
Right?
keeps going
It
until
just
we're
keeps
done.
going. Just keeps going. Phase 12, you ask for an app and I yell at you. No,
No, no app, and I'm not downloading it. No.
I'm not.
Uh, well, and I think the other thing important for especially newer designers or newer creatives in general to that we need to talk about is not getting attached to your work.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is not your baby. It's
It's
not your
not your
baby.
baby.
It's
So
not
the
your baby.
feedback that you're receiving
It's
is
not
not
personal.
about you personally.
Nope.
It's
Nope,
about
nope, nope.
the project at hand. And you're
Yeah.
always so good about to explaining this, especially younger
Yeah.
creatives of when they go out in the workforce about making sure you don't take this personally.
No. No, 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 no. This is not personal. And it's hard because, the nature of our work because it is creative, and that is, tangential to being like doing fine art, and fine art is an extension of you. And so this lives in this kind of weird commercialized space. But yeah, it is not a reflection of you. When I was 22 or 23, I got my very first job, and I had a marketing director that I reported to, and then he left, and in the interim I reported directly to the COO of the company. Or I mean, like, I had a manager, but our whole department reported to him, and I had to go present all these, like, concepts to the COO who had a financial background. He's a very nice man, but I show him all this stuff, and he goes, "I don't like any of it." And I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
Okay. And then he gave me some, like, really, like he gave me some feedback, and it was fine, and he wasn't trying to be rude, but he was like, "I don't like any of this." I was like, "Okay." And so because I had to go through that pretty early on in my career, but also, like, I talk about this a lot, like, I had a professor, Stephanie Nace, who's still at USC, and she was the first person, I think, who said to me, I was probably a junior when I took her class, that said to me, "This is a commercial art. Like, this is not your art. This is commercial, and it is a job." And that really kind of aligned my perspective really quickly. Um, and I'm so glad she said that to me because it is hard to learn that. But I graduated college, like, having accepted that, like, this is my job and it's nothing personal. Now, sometimes I got notes on a couple people on how they give criticism, but I can't say it here because they do actually live in the city of Columbia and they might
Uh,
actually listen. So I don't want to be rude to them, even though they
sure.
were rude to me. Um, but yeah, it's just this is my job and it's my work, and I hope people like it, but I don't get upset, like, when people and I mean, like, sometimes the imposter syndrome creeps in, like, if a
Yes.
client's unhappy, but, like,
Yes.
I I'd say, like, I don't know, 2% of the time, if that, I'm getting, "This is we don't like this, and we might not continue the project, and this just isn't working for us," and usually if that happens, they offer to pay me something for my time, which is nice.
That's
And then
very nice.
sometimes it's like, well, we didn't really know what they want, but sometimes I can tell, like, they just don't like what I did. And I do get a little imposter syndrome, like, "Oh my god, am I doing?" And I was like, "No, no, 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 because you got 50 people behind them that did like what you did, right?"
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, just it's hard to learn, but don't take it personal. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's
Agreed.
fine. You're still
The
great.
the the
You're still
imposter
great.
syndrome is very real because there and I have to remind myself too, because when I get the critiques like that, suddenly I'm like, should I even be a designer? Should I
I know.
just
I'm
quit?
like, I'm gonna just I'm just gonna get rid of my well, I don't know about you because you use Edge as your browser. And between that, the fact that you're probably going to make me download an app in November. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm just going to say there's an agenda on the website. You don't have to download it.
Well, I'll be at registration. I'm going to have a whole printed thing because I got to know what y'all doing anyways. I got to know where y'all are.
I'll get you a printout.
It's fine. It's fine.
Uh,
I just don't want the app. It's so annoying. It's fine. It's okay. Lauren and I can talk about it. She's going to make me use the app, and I'm going to complain the whole time, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think we're used to you complaining the whole time.
Yeah, I'm going to complain. I'm still going to do it because it's got to get done. I'm just going to be grumpy about it.
They're going to be like,
It's fine.
Eva's Eva-ing again.
Yeah, she's awake. She's going to do it, but she's mad because she's an eldest daughter. It's just how she is.
That's just how we roll.
Just how it is. It's just how it is. Yeah, that's what we have to say. Be nice with your critiques. Don't take it personally. Don't make me download an app.
Yeah.
And
feedback isn't failure.
Feedback is not. Oh, we should put that on our sticker next year. Feedback is not failure.
Maybe that's the title of this episode.
Maybe feedback is not failure. We'll make a sticker. You'll have to take them next year because I'm not going somewhere that makes me download an app next year.
Done.
Not doing it. Anyways, so that's all we have for this week. I'm not going to tell y'all what's next week because every time I say it, Danielle's like, not this. That's the wrong one. And sometimes I talk about it so long I have to cut it out. So Danielle, what are we doing next week? Because I don't know. I have no idea.
Guess what? It's It's time. She always tells you that we're going to have horror stories, and then we never have horror stories. But actually, I'm saying this now, I'm second guessing myself. Is it time?
Oh, no.
It is. It is time.
Yay!
Freelance Horror Stories. Get those stories to us. You can DM us on Instagram or LinkedIn. Email us at info@ghostbosspodcast.com. And that episode will finally be sharing our freelance. I love that you're finally. I'm not saying it anymore, but we're finally at episode 4 and episode 5. It's time.
Danielle, you know what you should do? You should embed the content calendar in an app and then refuse to tell me what we're talking about.
Works like a charm.
Yeah. I know how to trick me. I know exactly how to trick me. I trick me all the time.
I'll tell you what, after Freelance Horror Stories, we're also going to have our first guest of the season, Miss Lauren Miners, who will also have things to tell you about the app usage at conferences.
We're going to argue about app usage, AI, but then we're going to agree about astrology things.
I asked her if she can do a tarot card reading.
I don't think you can do a tarot card reading like virtually.
We'll find out.
Okay. I have tarot cards.
Oh, she
behind me.
Hold on. I think she's big on them.
Hold on. Are they behind me? I know it's a podcast, but now we do video sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you what. As an elder millennial, I'm proud you did the back of your hair.
Oh, yeah. Doing great.
You'll have to go to YouTube to see that.
I'm a little afraid to stand up because I am wearing jorts on the bottom half of my outfit, but my tarot cards are up there. I bought them in high school, and there's a little book that came with them, and there's pen stains all over it because I used to throw it in my backpack.
Well, we might do that when Lauren's on. We'll see. I'll have to ask her, can we do it virtually?
I'll pull them out. I used to be the girl that would do tarot card readings in the back, like sitting on the trunk of my Nissan Sentra in the high school parking lot.
And now you're the girl on a podcast wearing jorts. This all checks out.
I mean, I am from Aiken. All of this. Every single one of these things checks out. So
absolutely. Anyway. All right. With that, it was great to talk to you all this week. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with Freelance Horror Stories.
That's right. Maybe your horror story is about an app. If you also hate apps.
I have a feeling yours will be.
And you'll be a guest on the podcast. I don't even have to know who you are. Just be like a fellow app hater is in our midst.
All right. We'll talk to you all in 2 weeks.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
I don't care. The apps are dumb. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Ghost Boss Podcast, and also please like and review us on your favorite podcast app.